Welcome to Down and Dirty with the Badger State Chapter Floors. It's August 23rd. I can't believe there are only three polls left in the Badger State schedule. Ryan Zolik up here in the top right, Greg Elsing in the bottom there. This summer's gone way too fast. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know which day it is anymore. So, Greg, how are you, sir?
Did fly by, but some weekends seemed long. This was kind of a long week.
Yeah, I was out on the road for a full week, so it's all good. I didn't know what my house looked like when I got home last night, so it's all good.
Right. We're gonna let in.
Ryan, I got to run a camera in Wisner, Nebraska, with 118 heat index at 4 p.m. on Saturday. So
yeah, sounds like fun.
No.
We were comfortable. We were comfortable 75 degrees.
Where were you at?
Here in Wisconsin.
Sauk?
Yeah. All weekend. We were pretty lucky all week with weather.
I'm glad we're not this week.
Yeah.
Well, everything looks awesome for Highland, guys. Everything looks awesome for Highland. Like highs in the mid 70s, and I asked Dirk to come on a little earlier, guys, if he can. I like to do the preview, and then we can do the event recap up after that. So
okay.
But so we have Highland left, Vernon County Fair, and then we have
Green County,
right? 3 polls left.
Yep.
So Ryan, while we wait for Dirk to come on, do you kind of have the points leaders rattled off the top of your head right now, or do you want me to bring it up?
Yeah, I have not looked after, because this week I'm sure shuffled around a few of the points races, especially with 4 in a row. There's 3 in the light limited class, and I know that's shuffled around each night with some breakage and substitute drivers throughout the week. So I know that changed quite a bit each night.
Yeah, if you're watching the show list right now, let us know what polls you went to this past weekend. Did you make it to Lancaster? Did you make it to, what do we have? Sauk Prairie? I always say it wrong. Greg always yells at me. Sauk Prairie.
Yep. Pecatonica.
And then
Beaver Dam.
And Beaver Dam. So
yep. Beaver Dam, all the places I really feel had improved tracks this week.
Okay.
I mean, we're getting Pat Hack has helping with a lot of them, and really getting his advice is helping a lot.
No, that's great. That's great. So 540 Light Pro through Lancaster, which was Saturday night, right?
Thursday night.
That was Thursday night.
Okay, so I'm just going off the website, guys, right now. Lancaster through Lancaster, Andy Cartwright's at 466 for Light Pro. Matt Caster's at 436. Garrett Martin says, made it to Lancaster. Awesome track, was taking some power. So you looked like you guys had an awesome crowd in Lancaster, right, Ryan? Was it packed?
It was a good crowd for a Thursday night. And I know that they had, like, sports had already just started up this last week here in Wisconsin. So that's already an impact.
That was like my point, though, because I feel like they had a really nice crowd at Jeff Ball's deal a month ago. And then if we can come back Badger State on a Thursday night and have a great crowd, there's a lot of pulling fans in Grant County. A lot of Badger State pullers in Grant County, obviously.
Right. Adam said they were happy with the crowd they had. So
good.
Things look good there.
We ran 75 vehicles down the track, and they had a local class at the beginning in 4.5 hours.
Nice job.
We started at 6 and got done just after 10 o'clock, so less than 4.5 hours.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really feel like 4 hours is kind of that max for a crowd. I really do. I was out in Wisner, Nebraska, and they wanted to have 14 outlaw classes. And we started at 4 and we got done at 11. That was 200 hooks. And they were pounding. Things. We had a couple breakages, but it really hurt the crowd with the heat so early, guys. But then about 6 o'clock, the crowd started filling in like it normally does. But if you're a promoter and you're watching this, I know, and I can confess to Greg Elstein and my Savior Jesus Christ right now. When I first started churning dirt back in the day, I sat with Greg and I said, I want every Badger State class. He says, you're a crackhead. And I said, I don't care. And then Greg came up to me after the poll, like at 1 a.m, and said, hey, Jason, how much beer did you sell after 10:30? And I said, Greg, you're right. I'll never do it again. So that's my confessions, deep confessions with Jason Schultz. So
yeah,
I know we want to, but if you think about like a NASCAR race, an NHRA, a movie, a football game, that 3 to 4 hours is really that entertainment value. I'm just speaking on behalf of everybody. And God bless Wisner for wanting to try that. And Lancaster, if that's 4 hours, that's nice. But you just get too late, you start losing the crowd. People got to work the next day, and
Especially a weeknight is a weeknight is 3 hours. A weekend can be 4.
Yep.
But almost any time 3 is it. You know, honestly, people want to get back out in the, like we've talked, out in the beer tent and out in the out in the carnival and all that stuff too.
Yeah. Well, and then, if a sled breaks or something happens, I get it. But, if it's a normal show, you can ask your association you're hiring. You can say to Greg, Greg's going to say, we're probably going to have, 20 hot farms, and you can kind of build your, Greg will build the math with you based upon that, or Adam, whoever's doing your contract, as you look at stuff for Badger State. So
we track last year's events. What this class averaged last year is kind of what we go off. If say the pros averaged 14 last year, that's what we go off of. You can't BS anybody because they can look back at your schedule and see what you did.
466 hot farm through Sauk Prairie. Mike Meyer, Steve Worth with double trouble at 507. Dominic Holgroffers in second. Ooh, they had a hell of a lead. Mike Meyer did. They must have had a bad hook in Sauk.
Yeah, they popped the charger.
Ooh, they had a good lead going, but it got real narrow.
Well, you know how hot farm goes. It's going to go right down to the last.
Down to Monroe
every year.
Then you got to listen to John and Stacy and Chris with their count the points and all their fingers if they get it figured out there. Check with Amy. But yeah, Mike and Steve with double trouble at 507. Dominic Holgroffer, Mama's Money's in second at 505. And then Loofboroughs are in third, last year's points champions at 501. So really Mike and Tracy Paulson have an outside chance there in fourth, but they're about 17 points behind. But that class is so big, honestly, you could make up 15 points in a night if you do a flip to a top to a bottom.
Right.
Dirt Jury's logging on with Netflix, or what's the old Netscape? I can hear Amy talking.
And we run them guys early a lot, so the track does change, in that class. It's kind of better to be a later hook, versus in later in the night. Our early hook is generally better, but in Sauk class, the Limited Pro, you were definitely better to be in a late hook in the last class.
Yeah.
The way the track did get better as the night went.
Okay, what else for tractor classes here?
Yeah, Limited Pro probably got pretty good run. Coots is out there.
Yeah.
640 we got.
Well, their season ended at Pecatonica.
Okay, so Nick Cunningham is the champion.
Yep.
Scotty Burkhart, number 2. I see Stampede went down to Illinois to Brad Begeman. He's going to return into a 5-0.
Yep.
That guy's a good tractor puller. He knows his stuff. 4-1. I ran with Begeman with some Silver Series in the past. Seen him on the Western Series and stuff. Cootsy's got the lead at 627. Wild Bucks in second. Fredericks and Feller at 592. John Meyer Jr.'s in third at 586. That's your top 3.
Yeah, John's been pretty tough again this summer. He's picked up quite a few wins.
Looks like he won Sauk the other night. So
yep.
Tony called me this morning and said he grenaded his rear end. So Tony McDonald, or his transmission, not his rear end, his transmission. So
yep.
That always sucks. Okay, points. Tractor classes. Light limited super stocks, guys. We got through Sauk. We got Steve Zenz at 540. Wittenbach's right on his tail at 538. David Zenz at 522. Aaron Kleckler at 516. Wachholz is at 506. So that's tight yet between Zenz and Wittenbach's.
Yeah, Wachholz popped his intercooler Saturday night in Sauk too. Or he might have got a little closer. He had a good run going.
Yeah. And Mark, they had a kid. Was it earlier last week? Right.
I think
Tuesday.
Monday they had a baby, so Mark missed driving Thursday.
At Lancaster and Pecatonica.
Yeah, in Pecatonica, and it's tough to get on somebody else's tractor and drive it, but Eric did a pretty good job.
They actually had to get Nick Cunningham's turbo because they did hurt their turbo down at Pecatonica to run on in Sauk Saturday night.
Yeah. They had the welding gloves on in the pits, switching the turbo from one tractor to the other. It was still hot.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dirk's emailing me saying to send him the link to Amy's email. So let me do that quick, guys. If you want to just keep chatting, give me 1 minute here.
Well, you said you sent it.
I did, but they're having a hard time logging on.
All right.
Yeah, we also had a group of Kentucky tractors in the light limited class that came up since they had a 3-day pull events in a row this last weekend, and so that was nice to see some different tractors compete in the class, and I think they had a good time up here.
Yeah, that one alcohol tractor ran pretty good Saturday night. That's the only time I really got to watch. But,
yeah, Jamie Barger, he actually won also Thursday night in Lancaster as well.
Did he? That thing
Yep.
ran. That just sounded like a real alcohol tractor. You know, it didn't pop fart or anything like that. It was smooth the whole way down the track.
Dirk, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
We'd really like to see your ugly ass. Could you turn on your camera or not really? So,
Can you turn on the camera?
I love it. We've done this with Dirk before. I thought I had him trained. So
Yeah.
I never got trained on nothing.
oh, come on. I don't want that negativity, Drury. So
That one day he had an ad on the radio. It said technical specialist working at Georgia Small Engines, and I called him. I asked him if he hired somebody.
Well, it says I'm on. It says the camera's on, guys.
okay.
Yeah.
Does it which are you on a computer or are you an iPad? What are you on?
Computer.
Okay. Does the computer have a camera?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh
Is it
wait, I
covered
know
with-
what the problem is.
Oh, she's got a piece of tape over it.
Yeah, he's had a
What
little
are you
bit
doing online?
Stop.
of.
It's called Hey Dirk. It's called OnlyFans. That's Amy's new side hustle. So.
I ain't seen any money yet.
Well, no, it goes into her account, her secret account, offshore account.
Okay, why am I foggy here?
Because there's tape residue on your camera lens. Hey guys, this is the promoter of Highland, but don't worry, the tractor pull is going to go well. Okay, I promise you that. Hey, there he is, Dirk. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
Dirk, you look good. I'm not.
Thank
hitting on
you.
but you look good. So, well, the Highland poster's in the middle of the screen there. We were just chatting about points, and we'll go through some of that after we kick you off the show. But let's talk about Highland, man. The weather looks absolutely fantastic for this weekend. After everybody locks themselves in their house during the what do they call in this heat storm? Does this heat storm have a wave? Does it have a name, Zolik, like Hurricane Hillary or Heat Storm Hillary or anything? Have you heard yet?
I have not.
Like but it's going to be great. So Highland, Wisconsin, this Saturday, 6 p.m. This has quickly become a very, very, very popular pull on the Badger State schedule. And truly, you just pop over that little hill and boom, it's out there in the valley. It's almost like the Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. So Dirk, what's the history of the Highland Nationals? And then what year did you add Badger State? And then let's jump right into it. So,
Well, it started probably, 2012. And it was just a bunch of young guys there that took this rodeo grounds and they wanted to have a pull there. And so they built a track, and basically it was just the dirt and clay that were there. And they had farm pulls there for quite a while. And I think it was about 2018, they called me up and they said, can you come up and help us with this pull and see if we can, maybe get it better or tell us what we're doing wrong and stuff like that. And so I said, sure, I'll come up and help. So it turned out to be a pretty decent show. And it was, your two hot to farm tractors, a couple Southwest classes worked in there. And so in 2019, I always liked the late pro stock class, and I called them guys up, and back then they were new and they really didn't have that many pulls. So I says, hey, you guys want to come down to Highland and we'll give you some money just to make a hook on here to kind of show people what kind of we do at Badger State. And so they said no problem. They came down, and the crowd just went nuts and just loved them.
yeah.
And of course, the year after that was 2020, the COVID year, and everything was canceled.
Yep.
So we were sitting around there and nobody was pulling anyway all summer. And so they had this rodeo in town, the Little Britches Rodeo, at the end of July. And we went to the town and said, well, how come they have this rodeo out here? Can we have a tractor pull? And they said, I don't see why not. So I called a bunch of people up from Badger State and we got some classes together. And I said, if you guys want to come pull, and it isn't going to be much money, but if you want to come and get a hook on your tractors, this is what we're doing. And they all showed up. And I think that year, I'm stretching it, but we had 4,000 wristbands and we ran out at 5 o'clock. Well, you were there, Jason.
It was awesome. The line, Greg was there. The line was all the way for the food vendors. It was all the way back. It was crazy. That was such a, I mean, I know COVID sucked for everybody, but that was like, if for truck and tractor pulling, it was sort of good because it kind of got everybody, you had people, they just wanted to go pulling and they went anywhere. And it was a lot of fun. So,
and it kind of put our pull on the map. And so then the next year we had a meeting, the Highland Pullers did. And I said, would you want to hire a Badger State show? And they said, yeah, let's go for it. So they went out and got just a ton of sponsors.
Yep.
And that first Badger State show was basically paid for before we let anybody in the gate. And I just counted, up our sponsors this year, and we're at 107 sponsors.
That's
so they
like
go out
growing.
and they do a lot of work, and that's what it is. I don't do much. To be honest, I don't do much at all. My job is basically to just take the track, and I told them my job is the track. And so if the track sucks, it's my fault. If it's good, well, I must have done something right. But that's all my responsibility really is the track and the promoting of it.
well, you're good at it because the track's been good. And we've had some pretty big distances down there, I feel like, in the past, haven't we?
Well, if we can get, it's like you, Jason, if we can have a year where we haven't had 6 inches of rain the last 2 years, ever since 2020, we've been almost rained out. And the track hasn't been very good. And we put a bunch of black dirt on it because it was just potting clay. And then I think we went a little too far with the black dirt. So this year last fall, we brought in 14 loads of clay and mixed it in. And we had a pull this spring because I wanted to see how this track was going to react. And it worked out really good. It was just a farm pull and it worked out really good. So hopefully the guys should be up putting water on it tonight because I told them I had to be here. And hopefully we can get a good track for everybody. And that's the main goal, because if you have a good track, the pullers will come and pull on it.
Yep.
If your track isn't good, they don't want to go back. And at Highland, it's not an event like a Darlington or a Freeport or a Hillsboro where everybody goes there all the time. So we got to do a better job than everybody else with that track and the promoting of it. And little by little, we're getting more lights, and the money we make on the pull is it goes right back into the pull itself, and we donate all our money back to the community. The community is behind us all the way.
It's awesome. No, it's awesome. It's a great event. And Ryan, how many have you been able to go to Highland every year, Ryan, or have you been out gallivanting around the country?
I missed COVID year, but I've been every year since. It's
Okay.
like I've been there ever since it's been a Badger State point.
I've just been amazed by the crowd. How big is Highland, Wisconsin dirt?
About 850 people.
Yeah, I mean, and that first year, that COVID year was great. And then you come out with a good show, and then you get people knowing that, hey, they kind of know what to expect. So Randy Murdoch says 2020 Highland Pull was off the hook. It was just fun for people to get out.
We stayed there all night. I remember, or till late, too late. I know that.
And then I remember last year they rolled out the Kloss. Wildmans and Lemke rolled out the Kloss Pro Stock for the first time there. That was a big deal. So.
Yep.
And
pretty
last year I went up to Bob Lemke and I shook his hand. I says, I really appreciate you guys coming, Bob. I mean, you don't usually run with Badger State too much. Maybe you'll hit a few here and there, but I really appreciate you guys coming to Highland. And Bob looked at me and he says, you guys were the only ones in 2020 that had balls big enough to put on a pole. We'll be here every year.
That's true.
That helps. That counts. It means a lot. You know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got 466 hot farm tractors, super farm tractors, light pros, 4.1 limited pros, two-wheel drive trucks, pro stock tractors. So that's a really good mix of the Badger State classes. Only $10 to get in. That's what amazes me the most, Dirk. I mean, you're like you said, 107 sponsors. I think we've always talked about this, Greg and I, at the fair convention in the past. You'd almost rather have 4,000 people at 10 or 15 bucks than 2,000 people at 25 bucks.
Yeah.
Pullers love being part of a big event.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you ask a puller what makes an event great, if there's a big crowd, they feel like they're part of something. I mean, even the crowd, you feel like you're part of something. When there's a lot of people there, like, wow, this is an event. There's a lot of people here. It gives it it makes it fun. So
what I like is when somebody makes a good pass and you can hear the crowd. You know, they get into it, and there's a few places that get into it more than Highlands, and one that the people get into it a little bit. You can hear it, and as a puller, you appreciate that.
Yep. No, absolutely. Do you have any questions for Dirk Jury or Greg Elstein or Ryan Zolik? Please type them in the comments. Do you have any Highland memories? If you're a puller, if you're going to Highland this weekend, type it in the comments. Let's just have some fun and just keep chatting about this. Three hooks. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe where the summer went. But I mean, it was busier than all busy for everybody. I kind of feel like for the first couple of years after COVID, I feel like pullers were just willing to go anywhere. And I feel like this year is kind of getting back to normal. Like, I don't need to go putting 30,000 miles on my rig this year. I'm going to stay a little closer to home. I feel like I've seen that more across everywhere. So
I think what part of that is the cost of traveling and the cost of parts and making on the track.
Yep.
Just, maintenance just gotten out of hand.
Well, obviously I go all over the country. I feel like every weekend, and everybody always, the things they hear about Badger State and how do they do it. And I just said, it's time and strong leadership and just no BS. And, the guys say we want to pull, we don't want anything more than 3 hours from home. And I know Greg gets freaking text messages every day to come here, come there, come every which way. But he's like, no, it's not who we are. And you've stuck to your guns on that, Greg, and your pullers support you. They really do.
Yeah.
They want to go home at night. They want to go home at night. They got to work the next day, or they got to milk cows, or they got to farm, or whatever. So,
well, Sundays too. I don't like pulling on Sundays. None of the staff likes working. I got a phone call from somebody the other day asking me, "Are you still firm on not pulling on Sundays?" And it was a pretty good place to go pull, but I said, "Yeah, no, it's an established pull." And I said, "No, our guys just don't want to pull on Sundays, and the staff, I can't get them on Sundays. And it's been that way for 10 years, and I think it'll continue to be that way."
Yep.
Unless somebody wants to change my mind on something, and somebody's willing to do all the work on Sunday. But it is nice as a puller to have that day off.
Yeah.
It's just like work. You get.
No, you keep to your guns there.
Yeah.
I don't want to go anywhere on Sunday either.
Right. And it's,
I mean, hell, Greg, he had to get Amy to turn the camera on, so we don't want to put too much under. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
Hey, the tape was good though. I know Zolik and I both knew. We knew it was tape as soon as she said, "Well, the camera's on." I knew it. Ryan and I both kind of smiled, and we knew we had tape over that. So
I had to take the tape.
Yeah.
So
Greg has a sticky note over his at the office there at the farm.
I do. Or Schultz.
But getting back to our sponsors, we
should talk about Highland, not about Dirk's computer.
No, but what I wanted to say is they wanted to have this poll in what was it, end of May, first part of June, and it was going to be a farm poll or whatever, and a bunch of guys were going to come and poll, and the deal was that they couldn't get any of our sponsors for that poll that we went out and got for the Highland Nationals. And so there was hardly any sponsorship gotten. and we lost money. Had a good crowd, sold food, sold beer, but without those sponsors, I mean, we didn't make any money.
Yeah.
So that just shows you how important sponsors are
Oh yeah.
on any poll.
It is.
You
You
know,
have
and I'm going to give you our platinum sponsors, and these sponsors give us a platinum sponsor is $1,000 or more.
Okay.
And we've got Wisconsin Distributing, Hennessy Implement, Bodenstein Enterprises, Don's Tire, Total Seed Solutions, Nutrient Ag, Flynn Concrete, Pilling Electric, Winkus Transfer, Hillsborough Equipment, Double D Express, Integrity Grading and Excavating, Philback Ford, the Thirsty Farmer Bar, Reynolds Feed, and Reynolds Lumber, Bloomington Livestock, and Premier Cooperative, and Truck Country, and Farner Asphalt. Those are just a few of the 106 that we've got.
Well, that they're just named enough to pay for the whole poll if they're all $1,000.
Well, I think it's between 500 and 1,000 is what they give.
Okay. All right. Nope, but it does. You do have to have sponsors, and once you get it built up good enough, usually like we brought Sauk up. We're going from $10 at the game to $15 next year because we'll be bringing in an extra class, and we've got enough people to pay for it. But it's tough this time of the year too with high school sports and stuff going on Friday nights and Saturday nights. And people stuff going on, but we're always able to compete with them. Viroqua's, tough if the football team is in town, if the home football game is then, but they still make money at it with their sponsors.
Yeah, and I think they do. It's a Vernon County Fair. Ryan, that's the last fair in Wisconsin, right? I feel like every year.
Yeah, that's the last fair, not the last festival, but it's the last technically county fair, I believe,
Yep.
in Wisconsin.
Yep.
So I always feel like they have a nice crowd up there, even on a Friday night like that. So.
Yep.
Because really, for Badger State, we don't get that far west. I don't think, do we, Zolik? I'm trying to go off the top of my head. I feel like that's as west as we go.
I think so.
For that area, where that's the only pole in that area for
Yeah.
Badger State.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, and it's nice to get out a little bit. It's not that far of a drive for everybody either. So.
Like last year, Viroqua was playing Westby last year, the way
Yeah,
that they're
that's
scheduled. Oh,
Isn't
on
it
top
that
of
way
us.
every year?
It feels like it. Like it's like their first big game, and it happens to fall on their county fair.
Yeah.
But they still had a really good crowd last year, despite that going on.
And it grows every year too. It does. I always tell people, if you're signing us, it takes 3 or 4 years to get it there. Just so you know, you can't come out of the gate and knock one out of the park very often. But sometimes it happens. But more times than not, you have to work at it and build it up.
Yep.
Local
Yeah,
ad-
that's where we got lucky in 2020.
Right. Yeah. The only game in town, that was the only thing going on. So you did lucky, and then you got the name, and now everybody else support it.
Right.
Well, so that's good. I wish more people, more fairs in towns would have done that. I tried to get Sauk to do it, and I was shot right down. We're too close to Madison.
That my dad down in Iowa, you guys, the health inspector in I think it's Lynn County, Iowa, said I will come out and stand in the middle of the pulling track and not let anything go down the track. I think my dad mentioned we might just run you over then, but their board basically said we can't take the chance, of having everybody come in. But the polls that did happen that year were stupid crowds.
Yep.
And you're right, Dirk. It was like I said, COVID was stupid and dumb and whatever. But it was the best thing that for Highland, I mean, personally, that you guys had that poll and away you went. So,
Yep.
It was cool.
Yep.
It was super cool.
You got Dirk? We got some questions that we usually ask. If you could drive somebody's tractor, anybody's tractor in the country or anywhere, whose would you like to drive? And if you didn't have to worry about fixing it, just hop in the seat and go one time, and no questions asked.
Fuel's pleasure, Gary Brinkmeyer.
Yeah, there we
Did
go.
you want to take a second and think about that, or? Oh shoot!
Just trust.
Well, I was going to say the T8 Tomcat, but then I'd have been lying.
Yeah, don't suck up to Elsing. He can see
No.
right through that stuff. He can see right through that stuff. Greg doesn't like any of that anyway. Likes to be real.
Right.
Likes to
No,
be real.
That was when I did this 30 years ago, when I first started with Badger State. Him and Dwayne Hook were the two people that I've looked up to all my life. And I pretty much owe everything to those two guys. Dwayne would teach you things without even teaching you things.
Give us an example, Dirk.
But just the way Dwayne was. He didn't pull any punches. He just went out and told you the way it was. And now when you're done, come back to the trailer and have a beer with us.
Right. There was no sugarcoating anything with Dwayne.
No sugarcoating.
Yep.
And Gary is still, as far as I'm concerned, he is one of the nicest gentlemen in pulling that I've ever met. And I've met a lot of people.
Yep.
I think their whole family is.
Yes,
Yeah.
their whole family. I'm just their whole family is. I mean, the whole Brinkmeyer family is that way, and it all comes from Dad.
Yep.
You never see any of them not smiling. Hardly
No.
ever.
They're never coming out complaining about this or complaining about that. Yeah, they're a class act all the way.
Yep. You know, and if they're not happy, they don't really say a lot. But if somebody's doing good, they do congratulate them, say good job. You know, they do. If the sled operator's doing a good job or whoever, you know, the track was great, they will go out, and I've seen them go out and thank people, and that's that goes a long ways from that family. You know, it means a lot. They're a big name in tractor pulling.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, it's kind of like that. I saw something the other day on social media. It says, you know, it's okay to be happy for somebody else having success. Like Brinkmeyers are grateful when they win. They're grateful when they lose. You know what I mean? And they're good people. They have the right attitude on it. And you know, I mean, I don't like when people say, oh, that puller's a whiner, or they showed too much emotion. What you don't understand, fans, I think most of you do, but some people, the people that they don't understand that the amount of money that's put into these things, we all know that we're not doing this to let them make money. We're doing this to compete. And the competition is what it's all about. At that time you're on the track, so if something breaks or something doesn't go right, it's okay to show a little of emotion, you know, or if you have a good pass. I love that, because that's why at the end of the day, that's why you're doing it. Because everybody says once we're off the track, we're all friends. And that is the truest thing. You'll see any Badger State class, if somebody breaks, the whole team's up there helping them, or, you know, the whole class. But as soon as they strap in that roll cage and put that helmet on, they want to kick each other's ass. And that's just good stuff. That's great competition, and that's what it's all about. I hate it when I hear somebody say, "Oh, that guy's a big baby" or whatever. No, he's passionate. He wants to win. She wants to win. You know, emotion's so good for the sport. That's why I love pullers like Jeff Hurt and stuff like that. You know, that pump a fist, or if they have a crappy pass, they talk about it. The personality of it, I think that makes it fun. That's what's been fun for me for social media and everybody covering pulling from social media, to really show the human being underneath the helmet. That's why I feel like the sport's growing and starting to do some new levels.
There's another side to that, Jason, though. But if they get mad and they show that emotion, and somebody's got their heart into what they're doing as a flagman or a tech official.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm not giving people permission to rip a flagman's ass. Not that at all. I just mean if they get out and they kind of, or something like that, or they pump a fist when they win. I've heard people say, no, you should never chew a tech official's ass. Anything like that. No.
Right.
No, or yell at a sled operator. I mean, I've been around pulling enough, and I've seen it. I've been part of it. I get it, but no, you respect those people, because they're out there. They're doing it for the same passion as well. They want to be part of it. They want to run a safe event and stuff like that. No, I'm just talking about just pure excitement and
raw emotion.
Raw emotion. Not yelling at a tech official or something like that. So thank you for clarifying that, because
It's been an interesting year, Jason.
Oh no, I've seen some stuff where I've been to this summer, guys, too. It's been very interesting. So I just kind of wait for the next thing to happen, to be honest.
Right, and it will.
Oh yeah, no. I've been told I was going to get sued because I posted a video of somebody going down the track and they didn't like it, how I portrayed them, and I just said, "Wow, okay." So life is good. So
So no.
I said, well, then don't go out of bounds, and we won't make fun of you for going to Dairy Queen. Then what do you want me to do? So it said that happens. So but they didn't take it as well as I thought they would. So
Right.
What's your next question, Greg?
What's that?
What's your next question?
Favorite sled?
In Badger State or favorite sled, period?
Period.
Period, yeah.
I think, just from my experience, I don't think there's any better sled or sled operator than Brandon Bungard anywhere.
He's one of the best ones, yep.
And I know Vaughn Bauer is excellent at NTPA, but I haven't had much experience working with him, so that's the only reason I'm saying that. I mean,
Yep.
every time we've had him, he's been spot on.
Yep. He doesn't miss very often.
No, he does not miss very often.
Yep.
Clint Tucker's not every time I interview Clint for his events, he's the best sled operator in the world. Those are Clint's exact words every single time. So he's proven it too, time and time again.
I know that in Shipshewana last January, I went with the boys, and I couldn't believe how he was nailing guys right at the sand. Perfect.
Right there.
Yep. So you did a good job there. He does a good job.
I mean, he was at Lancaster. What night was Lancaster? Was it? It all runs together.
Right,
Thursday.
Thursday night.
Dirk, that is so
And-
funny. I love this time of year. I don't even know what day it is.
And they got a long track, and their crowd is down at the finish line, or the 300-foot mark is where the majority of your crowd is. And he put everybody in that 310 to 330 range all night long.
Yep.
No, he knows his equipment and he nails it every time.
He does. And
But
then
no, Shipshewana is what impresses me, because that indoor track with the sand, because you want to get as close as you can without piling them into the sand and breaking a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? I know the crowd wants the big sand hits, but the promoters.
I hate sand hits.
Yeah, I know they're hard.
the one thing about good sled settings though too is it's a lot easier on a good track. If
Yeah,
it's
True.
track, the sled settings are terrible, and the guys are just guessing at it, just like you're guessing at weights in your tractor. You know, you got it. All I think all our guys do a good job on a good track. If you have some you're guessing at, it's tough. You pay attention to it and look at the track before you judge the sled operator too. If he's on a good, usually have it right on the money.
And I think Josh has been doing an excellent job all year from what I've seen.
Yeah. Yep. He's better than last year. He's gotten better every year. Yep.
This is his second full year, right, guys, with the sleds?
I think it's third or fourth.
Yeah.
Is it? Wow.
Yep. He's been doing good. The next question, Dirk, place to Paul.
Say that again. You broke up.
Your favorite pole?
Darlington.
Yeah.
It's an event. Highland's got a pole. Darlington's an event. And that's what I keep telling these guys up here. I said, yeah, we can do better. But until we have an event, we're just another pole. And Darlington is an event. Freeport used to be an event.
Yep.
Hillsboro Charity Tractor Pull is an event. Toma is an event. And once you get to that, where people put on their calendar, I had such a good time this year, I'm going to make sure that date's open next year. Then you can get an event.
Yep. You have to make it where people that want to come pull with you or come watch you that don't do it every. You're regulars. I want to say that, right?
I mean, the thing with what's cool now is 5 years ago, Highland used to load up about 2 buses and everybody would go to Darlington. Now they don't have to.
Yep.
They just go right there in town and they get to see pro stocks, limited pro,
Yep.
2-wheel drive trucks.
Yep. It'll hopefully it don't rain and we have a good show there again.
Well, it's not supposed to, but I ain't saying nothing.
It sure
And
looks.
we did tile it.
Yeah.
Tiled both sides. I mean, like I said, we're doing everything we can. and that's what it takes.
You know, the freaking heat this week always brings rain. You know,
I know.
Not supposed to, but it seems like it always does. You know,
And it's supposed to cool down drastically Saturday.
yep. Let's hope
The
it
low
don't.
Saturday night is 55.
That's perfect. I can live with that. I was in Cornfield all day working on gearboxes on irrigation, and it was hot. Let me tell you. I'm glad it wasn't tomorrow, but it was bad today. But
John Strandley just joined us from soccer practice with Ross.
yeah, how's John?
We're doing good. You
Good.
guys. Hey,
Strandley,
we got the #1 flagman on here.
Oh, thank you, John. Jeez.
you
Right.
should have been on the beginning, John. It was funny. Dirk had his had the camera covered up with tape, so we didn't get to see him right away. It was quite comical. Quite comical. So
It's not my computer, John.
I think Amy kiboshed him.
yeah. So, well, Dirk, we're gonna let you go. Or Dirk, you can stay on, but we're gonna talk about. I want to recap last week, so I want to kind of go through the results a little bit. So, Beaver Dam, you can stay on, Dirk, because you're kind of part of Badger State. You're kind of a big deal here. So, if Beaver Dam was last Wednesday, right, guys?
Yep,
So let me start there. Did they have their big crowd as always, guys?
it was huge.
Yeah.
I think it was the biggest crowd ever, Jason. About 400 feet long or 450 feet long, 6 deep standing.
Yep.
Yeah, I see people go there early when I've been up there in the past and getting their seats marked with blankets, and it's crazy.
They
It's crazy.
Yep.
back from the guys. They said it was the biggest crowd they've ever had.
Awesome.
So that was really cool. Yep.
And that's a big grandstand. I mean, they can hold a lot of people.
Yeah, I bet there's 3,000 people in the grandstands, and there's probably 500-600 standing in front. You know, along the
That's awesome. Willie Deppy won 2-wheelers at with Old School at 319. Kyle Timmerman, Hot Nasty, was second. Scott Nearing was third. Pro Stock Diesel Trucks. Does Dirk want to be done? Corey Funk, I'm gonna mute him for a second, guys. We'll let him come back and talk. He'll think he's talking to us. It'll be funny.
Right.
Pro Stock Diesel Trucks, Corey Funk, #1. Joe Wiltz, #2. Jared Ripp, #3. 540 Light Pros, Alan Cook, 360. Colin Burkholz, 346. Alan Paulson, 335. That's kind of Alan's hometown pool, right?
Yep. Alan and Keller lives there too with the
Yeah.
Wild. You know, he's on the Wild Buck team, and he lives about the same as Al.
Okay. Limited Pro, Ingo King is back out, 347. Mike Gerlach, 343. Kathy Gallitz, 342. Feller was 340. Josh Dutton, 337. 14-4-1s. That's awesome. Pro Stocks, Travis Wildman, 346. Randy Brew, 342. Ben Brinkmeyer. There's a Ben Brinkmeyer. How many Brinkmeyer kids drive that tractor?
That was his first pass ever. Really good job driving.
337.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Super
Yes.
Farms, Shannon Barman. Is that Brian's wife, Shannon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Chuck Gutenberg was second.
That was her first time ever driving a tractor as well.
And then Tori Slama drove Fast and Furious. Is that James's daughter?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
So had some first timers up there.
A lot of first times there. Yep.
That was Avery was the first time on my Pro Stock too.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. What do you think of that, Greg?
He thought it was all right.
Oh yeah.
It-
All right. This is all right, Dad.
If I had a vote of so far the most improved track all year, that'd probably be it. You know, as far as most improved track, if we had a vote for it, that would so far this year, that would get my vote. They put some clay in it; it was a lot better.
That's always been kind of a hard racetrack in the past, hasn't it?
Yep. It was always it was hard and dry. It just didn't, you know, it went together nice, but it just didn't take any power. But it took a little bit more power this year.
Colin Burkholz says track made a huge improvement this year at Beaver Dam. Awesome.
Yep.
I think
He
a
might-
lot of the-
That way.
Colin's rocking the picture of the hot farm in his YouTube profile there. I like that.
Yeah.
I think four-wheel drive trucks were kind of taken by surprise in the gearing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if they went off the past, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Lancaster Light Pro was Deer Addiction, 343. Gray Area was 342. Colin was 335. Two-wheel drives. Chad Haggerty went 347. Old school Tim Deppy went 329. Kurt Timmerman went 327. Super Farm went to all cranked up Jason Vinny. Trip Downing was second. Casey Fritz was third. Tori Slama was fourth. Let's see here. Light limited super stock. Jamie Barger driving Haywire out of Houston, Kentucky. Took the win. Is that an alky or is that a smoker, Ryan?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. Yeah, laid one out there, 353. Steve Zenz was second at 337. David Runkle was third at 337. Wickman fourth. Hot Farm, Mike Meyer won at 335. David Baker was second at 334. Adam Adrian, 331. That's kind of Adam's hometown pole, Lancaster, isn't it? He doesn't live too far from there, Glen Haven, I don't think.
Yep. His dad used to be president of the fair board there.
Okay.
Steve Adrian. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like 6 feet, like for the top 12 tractors in Hot Farm. It's always so competitive.
Yep.
Awesome. Jamie
Yep.
Larson won 3-6 Pro Stock Diesel Trucks by a foot over Corey Funk. Ryan Funk was third. What a class. What a show. That's Lancaster. Let's see here. Then Pecatonica was next, right?
Yep.
That's Burkhart's hometown pole, right? Him and Cunningham and those guys?
Yep. Lancaster has been one of the every year, we've been pulling there for 30 years. We didn't for a few years there, but that has always been a good track.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pecatonica, the results are not up on the website, so I can't give them to you. Sorry about that. I just checked that.
Nick Galtz won limited pro.
Yep.
Okay.
Nick Cunningham won the pro farm. No, Scott's son, Brennan, drove for the first time and won pro farm that night.
Yep.
Light limited was the Oliver Zenz.
Yep. Yep.
I think that's Dave's tractor.
Yeah.
Because I think Steve drives the white.
Steve has the Z ride.
Yep. Yep.
Sauk Prairie, Hot Farm goes to Warren Luthborough. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Double Trouble lost a huge points. They lost a big lead they had there. I think they only have a 2-point lead now after Sauk because they were up by a bunch, but they finished last because they blew a turbocharger, so that stinks.
Kathy told me that Mike had a bad feeling this week. Something. He went good, did week to the last night.
Pro Stock Diesel Trucks, Corey Funk gets the win in Sauk. Stranley was second. Jamie Lars was third. Light limit to Super Stocks, Jamie Barger with Haywire won at 330. Steve Zenz was second, 325. Wittenbach, hometown pole, third at 320. Limited Pros, John Coots, 333, won. Jared Fredericks got second at 328. Aaron Geitzel got third at 323. How many pullers are running those new parks that Feller was talking about last week in that class?
I think
Sure, Fredericks is.
Fredericks and John Meyer Jr. are.
Okay.
Yep. And that's it. Randy Brew has them on in pro stock. Is the only other ones in the club, I believe.
Okay.
The new ones.
Okay. Gotcha. So yeah, so that's our weekend. So Highland, Wisconsin, you guys. This we have about 5 minutes left. So John, you haven't got to talk much, John. So I want to give you a chance to talk. So.
You sure? Dirk might throw me out. Sled settings for light pros are top 5. Colin Burkhold said.
Yep. Well,
Top 5 track in the very underrated.
Yep. Not underrated by the guys that pull here because I know that's a good track. So you announced
Looking forward to Highland.
What's that?
So looking forward to the weekend in Highland.
Yep. So what was your highlight of the week this last week, John? The polls you did do.
I think Beaver Dam was a highlight. Stacy came up with me and both of us called the show there. That was so much fun between the two of us and 2 tracks. That was just a great time.
It was a lot. The poll moved right along.
Moved fast. A lot of good action.
Except for Randy's injector come for 20 minutes to fix.
Yeah.
make it work. We had a hard time on his program because. But other than that, Tectonic I know is a good show, really good show. That was a much improved track. I would say it's the best that's ever been there too. This ever, you know, that around a long ways. I would like to have been pulling down there with Blue One, but we're not. So maybe next, but we can't go 4 nights in a row.
Yeah, doing maintenance and that's a lot of runs there. Got to make sure you look over them.
It is.
Plus farming and everything else. So
Right.
Good points race in all the classes, though. I'm sure it's going to be a nail biter right to the wire in Monroe when we're done.
Yeah. Only two classes have a big lead, I think, is Pro Stock with Travis Wildman and Limited Pro with John Coots. All the rest of them are pretty tight, aren't they?
I think so. Trucks are top three are pretty tight. I think first place Funks. I think if they just stay a solid couple passes, they'll have that one sewn up. But second, third, and fourth are tight, I think, in that class. Hot Farm's got to be really tight, I believe.
Yeah, it's two points.
2 points.
Yep, it's 2 points.
It'll be a nail right to the end.
Yeah.
What about Super Farm?
Hey, you got Larry Richwine on the Badger State show. What's up, Larry? How are you, buddy?
Well, I tuned in 8 minutes early, didn't I?
Well, that's okay. I think did I send you
Did
the
you
wrong
send them the wrong link?
Everybody loves Larry Richwine. We can have. You don't work for the NTP anymore, Larry. You're a free agent. You can talk.
Well, technically, yeah, I'm a free agent. I don't know, yeah.
Well, I can tell you, but Dave Schreier, I says, if you're out of a job, you can come work with me. I'll teach you a little about tractor pulling.
Oh, here we go. Yep, there's
Okay.
there's
All
the
right,
side.
Dan.
I was hoping to see Larry at Hillsboro, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him. And I see you got a nice award in Bowling Green, so congratulations.
Well, thank you. I was at Hillsboro.
I seen you, yeah, but I didn't get a chance to chat with you.
Oh, well, I was available for chatting.
I was, but I was on the microphone.
Oh,
Larry,
well.
did I put the Badger State link in the chat today for Let's Go Pulling?
Yeah, buddy.
This is going to be fun tonight. Awesome.
Wait till everyone
Jason,
joins.
You know, Jason, you've been saying a lot, man. I love you, Larry. I love you. And I'm thinking, I've been telling you, no homo. No homo.
It's all good.
And
It's all
And then
good.
here I am with all our Badger State friends.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's we love our Larry Richwine. I just sent the wrong link to everybody. This is going to be fantastic tonight.
Would you want I should get off of here?
No, you can stay on. Great. We like having you on, Larry. We're wrapping this one up and we're going to head over to Let's Go Pulling. So I'm going to log off right now because I need to send some new links to people. Hey, Dirk, I'm going to send you the proper link for the Let's Go Pulling show. Okay.
Okie dokie.
I want you to come on there at 8:15. Okay. So why don't we just wrap it up? I need to clean stuff up, guys.
It's
Yeah.
my fault. I showed up and it's my fault. Damn.
No, Larry.
That's okay, Larry.
No, Larry, I'm glad you did because I'd have been like, "Where's everybody at?" So it's all good.
Nope. I don't have anything else unless you do, John. How you feel? You good?
I'm good. Just thank all of our great sponsors that help us out. So Slama Enterprises, Front Street Toys. Who else do we got, Greg? We got Casper Egg.
Yep, and Trip Downing. Casper.
Yep. So thanks to everybody that's
Want to thank.
helping us out. So.
Yep. That's all I got this week, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
I think next week we're gonna have some.
All right. Take care, everybody.
What's that, Greg?
I think we're gonna have stuff from Chris Feller next
More
week,
what?
where the blocks are.
Okay, sounds
All right.
good. Larry, watch the chat. I'm gonna send the right link. I'm such a ding dong.